Comes from Bad Granddaughter. That's what it signed. Bad, I mean, I think, does this get a warning? No, I don't think so. It's just rather... It's rather unfortunate.
Yes. Good.
Bad Granddaughter writes, Father Simon, most worthy of judgment, Ambrosial Susie, and Mac the Exculpator.
That's me. That's what they call me at home.
Bad Granddaughter says, I do not deserve to be forgiven, and I'm merely writing to you to warn others of my manifold sins and wickedness. This confession occurs in the 1990s. I was 30-something. Family was very important to us, and my grandmother had recently moved to our town for ease in her old age. My mother worked very long hours, and I didn't. Sorry, punctuation was wrong. My mother worked very long hours, and I didn't. So it fell upon me to perform the regular roles required to care for my grandmother. One of these roles was Saturday morning shopping at the local supermarket. My grandmother had played a large role in my upbringing, so I was very happy to give back with these time-consuming chores. My grandmother was like a duchess. Very strict rules and an opinion on many things. From an early age, I had given her the nickname of Grumbleweed because she loved to point out the failings in everything and everybody. Okay. Most of Grumbleweed's moaning was around women who worked too much and how modern the world was becoming, or manners and the lack of respect for elders, that the world was going down the pan. It went on and on and on. One Saturday morning, I left my husband and daughter at home and drove to Nan's warden-controlled flat. It was easier if I went alone, because if I took my daughter, there'd be mass grumbling on how children are raised. Now, children in the old days were much better and smarter and less complaining. Anyway, Father Simon, on this particular Saturday morning, I did not want to be subjected to the barrel of abuse that was coming my way. I just wanted to get the shopping, do something else, so this is what I did. I went to the supermarket without my Nan. It was easy to replicate her weekly needs, as I've been doing it for years, and her choices were generally the same. 20 number 6, a box of matches, a raspberry jelly, a jar of fish paste, a jar of crab paste, some camp coffee with added chicory, quarter pound of humbugs, and a bunch of other stuff, but it was always the same. I knew what to get. I then drove to Nan's flat, carried all the shopping in. Nan was sat exactly where I expected, and this, Father Simon, is where I'm feeling bad. I walked in as though we had already been shopping together. I bet you're glad that's over for another week, Nan, as I carried the bags into the kitchen and began unpacking. I bet you're ready for that Danish that you picked out just a moment ago. Well, this was the point of no return.
Okay.
Would she remember that she hadn't been out? Oh, she said. Yes, please. Won't be as good as what Lions the Bakers used to sell, but it'll do. I bet you're tired after all that exercise, I said. You're right, said my Nan. I'll just have a doze. And that's it, Father Simon. I left Nan happy, searching for words in her puzzle book. And I went home feeling confused by what had occurred. The initial feeling had been happiness, but then disappointment in myself. I never deceived Nan again over the shopping. And Nan stopped moaning about silly things and became the opposite, with praise everywhere. We never talked about Saturday. I can imagine all your righteous listeners horrified and shocked now. I too am horrified and shocked, but you have kids who have demands, you got parents who have needs and demands. This is what happens. Society is to blame.
Yes.
As well as me, I suppose. I forgave myself because I discovered a loophole and never used it again for any personal gain. Part of me believes that she knew what was happening and changed her attitude because of what I did. I will never know the truth, but your judgment will be hers. Your judgment.
Will be. Go on.
Will be a judgment.
Your judgment will be the final word in this matter. I'm just changing what she says just at the end. That's kind of what Bad Granddaughter was intending, I think. Anyway. Well, I mean, it's pretty... this is going to... I think people are generally going to be unforgiving to pretend to your grandmother that you'd all been out quite happily.
Yeah.
Let's see what the voice of responsibility says from the pub.
Well. Do you know, she might have been a bit of a mean person and a bit of a moaner, and that's not very nice. So I can see why But I just think it's a bit too mean. It's purposefully, you've made her get really confused. She knew she didn't go out, and you made her think she did. And that's just a little bit mean. For whatever reason, and I'm glad you didn't do it again. So that's something, but I just don't think I can forgive it.
Okay, brother from another gutter.
I think she definitely knew. She knew what was going on. It was fine. She was in on it. It was all fine. It was the 90s. We all remember the 90s.
Yeah.
And aren't we all a little bit grumbleweed in a way? I think we all are. And isn't society to blame, really? Probably. I think so. So I'm going to forgive for those reasons.
20 Park Drive and a box of matches.
Yes. Camp coffee.
Camp coffee and a jar of fish paste. I mean,
Fish
you can't...
paste.
And crab paste in the fridge.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
It's a Christmas compendium, that's what it is.